Hi, my name is Brigid Barry, and I work for these guys, Farming for Nature. Farming for Nature try and encourage farmers as much as possible to keep as much nature on their land as possible. Why is this important for us all? Well, most hedgerows, rivers, lakes, mountains, etc., are on or going through private farmland in Ireland. This means most of our mammals, birds, insects, and fish are living on these farms and reliant on these farms to provide them with homes and food they need to survive. Farming for Nature try to encourage farmers to keep or enhance this space on their land for nature. Today, I'm going to talk to you about one thing that underpins it all, soil, and why it's so important. First, whilst I'm sure only some of you are future farmers, trust me when I say all of you should know why soil is so important to us and how, if treated badly, it's not only lifeless, but useless to us and our planet. So let's get started. Soil, also referred to as muck or mud in this country, is a living organism, just like you and me, cats and dogs, birds, insects, and more. This is what good soil looks like. And this is what bad soil looks like. Okay, it's a drastic version of very dry soil in its worst case, but here on the right is more realistic. So good versus bad. When I say good and bad, I mean healthy and unhealthy. Basically, happy or not so happy soil. Have a look at these two versions of soil on the left and the right and see if you can see some big differences here. I will give you a clue. Think about all your senses. First, name all your senses and then see how each one of these might relate to this question. Pause the video for a minute to do this. How did you get on? Right, first of all, let's look at the soil. As you can see here on the left, it is a dark, rich color. And on the right, it's quite a dull color. So that is one of the big differences between healthy and unhealthy soil. Then let's think about touch. On the left here, you can see it's kind of like small breadcrumbs. And this is considered the best soil structure as water and animals can move easily through it and around the crumbs. Whilst on the right, it's more thick clumps, which is dry and cracked, making it hard for anything to move through. Smell. Yep, you can smell good soil. It smells fresh, clean, and pleasant, while bad soil smells of rotten and dead material. Believe it or not, you can also taste soil. Some say they've eaten soil that tastes like chocolate, but I think we'll leave that up to the experts. So healthy soil can taste sweetish, while unhealthy soil can taste sour or salty. Finally, last but not least, hearing. Yeah, believe it or not, you can hear healthy soil. Okay, you need to have better hearing than me and possibly you, but healthy soil is alive with activity and unhealthy soil isn't. But more on that in a minute. So how can I tell if I have healthy soil or not on my land? Well, one of the easiest ways to go out is with a spade and dig a hole in the soil and pull up a piece of soil. And when you've dug this hole, can you see this guy? An earthworm. Earthworms love sweet tasting, fresh smelling soil that he can move around easily without too many problems. It's definitely where this guy is happiest and invites all his friends and family to live there too, which in reality looks a bit more like this. Healthy soil is packed with earthworms and their wiggly bodies, or nematodes, which is their official name. It's also, on closer inspection, packed with these guys too, which you might recognize me more as this guy on the right, a mushroom. Yep, on the left, I'm from the same family, fungi, and there's lots of different types of fungi that is needed to grow on the roots of plants in order to give them that extra boost. kind of like your apple a day to keep going in the afternoon, or a peanut butter sandwich after school. Now we're talking. Healthy soil also needs lots of this guy and this guy. These are teeny tiny organisms that we can't see with just digging a hole, but they are there feeding the plants and soil. To see these, you will need a microscope, but let's not get too caught up in the science of it all. You can go to university and learn that. But I have a quick question for you now. How many bacteria do you think is in a teaspoon of healthy soil? Can you pause and guess a number? Did anyone get between 100 million and 1 billion? That is a lot. Basically, I just want you to know that soil is alive with lots of different things. And unhealthy soil does not have the same amount of life in it. So why is it important to have healthy soil? Well, let's see if you can help me. Let's start with, why do we need soil at all? Why is it important to us in our daily activities? And the next question I want you to think about is, why do we need it to be healthy? Any thoughts? Again, pause the video for a few minutes, have a think, write down some answers, or discuss it in your classroom. So why do we need healthy soil? Well, everything we eat that is natural needs soil to grow. Vegetables and fruit, grass cereals for cows, pigs, chickens, which produce our meat and milk, etc. This all needs soil. Let's think about what you have in your lunchbox today. Do you have a sandwich, fruit, vegetables, nuts, seeds? What's in your sandwich? Do you have cheese, meat, or just a bit of butter? Even the ingredients of your sandwich. All of this needs soil to grow its product. Now, does this food pyramid look familiar to you? Basically, it's saying at the bottom is things you should eat more of, like vegetable, fruit, etc. And then as it goes up, you're to consume less of these. But what's important is that the first 4 sections, these guys, all need soil to produce food for you. So basically, what you should be eating most of needs soil to produce. As you get near the top, more chemicals get involved in order to produce these things. But again, you can go to university and learn about this another time. Even bigger than that, all life needs soil to survive. Wow, that's a big statement. Let me help you break this one down a bit. Let's pick a creature like a bird. Why would this bird need soil? Well, there's a clue in the mouth. If we think about what it eats, where it lives, how it defends itself, and what it drinks, birds need soil. They need worms and insects that grow in the soil to eat. They need the trees that grow in the soil to build its nest. They need the bushes that grow out of the soil to protect it from the wind, predators, and too much sun. And they need clean water, which is soil is also responsible for, but more on that later. Yep, if I was bird, I'd be pretty happy if there was a lot of good soil around. And that's just one creature. You and your class can take some time if you want to think about some creatures that you can think of and the connections they'd have to soil. You can use these 4 different sections to think about what they would need from that soil: food, home, shelter, water. I think you'll find soil is pretty important. Now, why do we need healthy soil? This is a slightly more difficult question. Did you have any thoughts on this? Well, the healthier the soil, the healthier all that lives and grows there. On the left here, we have carrots that grow in healthy soil. They are big and strong looking, and they're straight. And here are some carrots that grow in unhealthy soil. I know which ones I prefer to eat. The healthier the soil, the healthier the food that grows there. So if this carrot grower, this farmer, does not have soil that's alive with creatures like worms, bacteria, fungi, all working together to give the farmer the best possible soil, he or she will have to start using lots of chemicals and other inputs to try and get the same effect, but not naturally. This can get really expensive for the farmer and damaging for the planet. These inputs and chemicals over time will start to harm any of the good worms and microorganisms and fungi that are there. This weaker soil will also start to attract disease to things that are growing there, so that the farmer will have to use more external inputs to control this. And this in turn will start to harm the other animals and plants that live off the soil. And the healthy food that might look healthy, as it is big and strong looking, but has had lots of chemicals and other inputs to get it there, it might not be as good for us if it had been grown in good soil, healthy soil to start with. Confused? Yeah, there's a lot there. Basically, healthy soil should look like this, alive both above and below the ground, with lots of different animals and plants working together to give a balance in nature. And unhealthy soil looks a bit more like this, lifeless below the ground and just kind of minimal life above the ground. The farmer needs more chemicals and fertilizers to get it working to produce more food. Aside from our food and providing a source for all plants and animals to survive, soil has so much more to offer on the bigger aspects around our planet. It filters water, in many cases leaving it good enough to drink. The soil can hold on to pollutants and leaving living organisms harmful chemicals and minerals, and only let clean water through. Good soil also stops floods and droughts. Healthy soils absorb and store water that would otherwise run off and create flooding in times of heavy rain. But it also acts like a sponge and releases moisture in a time of very hot weather or drought. This is when there's very little rain and plants and animals struggle to grow as they don't have water. Now, I want you to take a deep breath in and out. That is oxygen we're taking in. And plants provide us with oxygen, so we and other animals like dogs and elephants can breathe. Soil and plants work together to remove the harmful gases from the air and store them safely in the soil, like carbon gases. Basically, we need clean oxygen to survive and not lots of carbon dioxide in the air. And soil, in its healthy state, can store up to 11 gigatons of carbon dioxide every year. That's a lot, and really helpful for both us and the planet in general. Have I lost you? Again, some of this is more for when you're at university, but basically, healthy soils equals healthy planet. Crikey, that's big. Now, I have done an animation for you that will help explain this a bit more. So let's start this animation. Soil is one of the land's most important natural resources. It not only underpins food production, but when treated correctly, soil can support a vast array of plants and animals. It can filter and reduce water pollution, protect against erosion, drought, and flooding, and has the potential to help combat and mitigate climate change through carbon capture. We can protect and enhance the soil on land, ensuring life will thrive both above and below the ground, and this can benefit the land and the wider community. So just a little animation there for you. Now, I was just thinking about an activity you could do when this is all finished, or you could do tomorrow or next week in your schoolyard, or you could bring in some soil from a nearby park or someone's garden. All you need is a spade or a gardener's trowel. If you have microscopes or magnifying glasses, that would be great too. But basically, with a spade, dig up some soil in your school garden or local park. Can you remember how you use all your senses to test whether it is healthy or not? Is it rich in color? Are there like breadcrumbs in your hand? Can you smell anything? Is there any life you can see, like worms or other creepy crawlies? Do you have a microscope or magnifying glass? Can you see the soil more up close to spot the smaller creatures or microorganisms? Then, can you think of ways you can make it healthier? This is something you can think about now, actually. It's quite a hard question, but maybe the picture on the right will help, be able to help. Why don't you pause and think, if you want to make some suggestions around this, how you can make the soil healthier. How did you get on? Well, here's some suggestions I have. You can make sure that the soil is not bare, that there's always plants and grasses growing on the soil. You could plant some trees to help protect it. Leave some dead leaves and branches on the soil to feed the soil insects. Leave weeds grow so that they can capture carbon from the air and store it in the soil. Did you guys come up with any of that? Finally, you can make your own compost to add to the soil in the schoolyard. Now that would be fun. I'll leave you do that another day. But what you can do now is a quick recap quiz. Feel free to pause and see if you can remember the answer to any of these questions. And here are the quick answers that you might have had, and you might have added some more yourself. So ultimately, soil is the foundation of everything we eat and see alive. So it's important that we treat it right and not like dirt, as it is the basis of all life, and when treated correctly, can help produce the best food for us, sustain biodiversity, and look after the wider planet. Thanks for listening. And if you have any questions or queries, don't hesitate to find me, Brigid Barry, farmingfornature.ie. Thanks and good luck.